Hello, I have a new setup and I've changed my ways to Christ. No, I didn't. This shit's in Spanish. I don't know where the fuck I found this. It's just it is a real Bible, but it's completely in Spanish. Esto ya de espero que haba de resparo los crees e el dos no ha habido el Espíritu Santo porque Jesus no habo sido ano casado. I don't know what I said, but involved Jesus. But what I'm really gonna get into today is chances we're in a simulation. People have been talking about AI prompts and is AI God? So to start, people like Elon Musk say that there's 1 in a billion chance that we aren't in a simulation, and other numbers online point to that there's a 20 to 50% chance we're in a simulation, pictured here, because what are the chances? It's we could be in the real reality, or we might not. It's who knows? Because you wouldn't know, because you were born in it, you've been raised in it, you lived your whole life in it, your entire family's lived their entire lives in it, everybody around you has lived your entire lives in it. So it really makes no difference if we are in one or if we aren't in one. So, but if we do live in a simulation, you have to figure out how to take advantage of it. Because if we are in a simulation, then there's patterns. And if there's patterns, you can figure out those patterns. Once you figure out those patterns, you can game the system. Which is, people say, the Matrix could be real. Because you follow the patterns, you get what you want. Continue to follow the patterns, you get what you want. It's you eat healthier, you lose weight, that's obvious one. You work out, you gain muscle, simple one. I've been trying to do both of those. You can see in a couple of my earlier videos, really seeing that double chin. And I was like, woo. So now I'm back down to 222, and big dog, 6'1", 222, but I want to be lower than that. I want to be below 200 pounds. I want to see what I look like if I'm below 200 pounds. Haven't been below that since middle school, so we'll see if I can get there. I really enjoy food. But back to the pattern thing. If we do live in a simulation, then it doesn't matter. If we're in it or not, we have no idea. You have the same rewards, same consequences, same chance of death. Just the only scary thing is that if we are in a simulation, does that mean heaven and hell are simulated? Does that mean atheism is real? Do we just disappear? Do we just die? Or what happens to us? Some people believe that after you die, when you follow the alien theory, there's apparently many theories, and people say that there's documents, but a lot of people say a lot of things, and who knows? Who actually knows? There's so many things about aliens that people say. People might be saying things that discredit other people. And my thought on it is, if aliens are real, and if they were going to be malicious, they have the technology to get here, so we have the technology to destroy ourselves. But if they have the technology to get to space from where they are, but we can't get to them, then they definitely have the ability to destroy us. But I'm getting a little off topic here. And like I was saying, it's not a high chance we're in the original reality. You have zero chance of figuring out if we are in the original reality. And you can choose to think about it. You can choose not to think about it. Really makes no difference. But yeah, you can choose to think about it. Doesn't really make a difference. And with some really smart people, like again, this could be made up, like to prove that we're in a simulation, is if you really look into genetics and you really look into the things that are looking like the small things that like will never be able to seen by us, then it looks like code. Like many people say, it looks like code. And it's like, why does it look like code? That's why some people think the simulation, it's... Fuck, what was I gonna say with that? I don't know. This episode, just standing up in the new set is like kinda throwing me off. In the other one, I was able to like stare out a window and then like I'd be able to focus. But now, I don't really know what to stare at in here. I'm gonna look at, I got Yuri and Glover boxing it on my wall. UFC 275. I'll look at that, probably. Or I got Adesanya when he beat Whitaker for the belt. I got pieces of the mat on my wall. Look at that. I don't know. Gotta be able to lock in while doing this. And yeah, like when you say these things, it sounds super made up. It sounds super not real. Sounds not possible. But how many things have people found out, people discovered that nobody thought was going to be true, nobody thought was going to be real, and turns out it was. Because there's communities of people, like this fucking professor, fucking book reader fag, that they get so invested in, they're like, oh, we read this, I read this, my professor told me this, I got this, I got that. But they don't question anything they were taught, and they just go with it. Like with me, I do a lot of my own reading, I do a lot of my own research, so like the things I'm pulling, it's kind of the same thing. It's like there's different things going on, but you know, man, I'm really losing my train of thought today. Yeah, so there's a lot of people like historians, professors, scientists that just stick with what they're told because they just don't want to look stupid. It's like, oh, if you say, oh, we live in a simulation, nothing's real. It's like, how made up does that sound? It sounds pretty made up. So like, it could be completely made up. But, you know, at the same time, how many things have sound made up? Like, we used to think that we were the center of the universe, Earth, because we were able to see all the planets from all these different places. But, you know, one guy came around and said, no, the sun's in the middle because I don't even know how he figured that shit out. But he figured that shit out, and they put his ass in jail, and then he killed himself. So, you know, you gotta question what is being silenced, and you have to question what's being pushed without the choice of being resisted. Because that's one thing that's happened in modern history, is you can talk about COVID. Because with COVID, that's one thing people weren't allowed to question, weren't allowed to even say, oh, it came from a lab. You weren't even allowed to say it was created. People were saying it was racist because people were calling it the Chinese virus. But it was made in a lab in China, it was made in Wuhan. Like, if anything, it's way more racist what they were saying. Like, what a lot of liberals, like, they're like, liberals are overly racist. They're like you ever see that clip of, like, the lady saying, that, like, inner city black kids don't even know how to use computers? That's insane. And then, like, the fucking black dude's, like, walking around on the ground acting like a monkey in, like, his underwear, like, slapping the computers, like, ooh, 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 ooh. Because, like, bro. And then, like, they're also saying, like, that's racist saying black people don't know how to use computers. Every single person in America knows how to use a computer. And they were trying to say black people couldn't vote because they don't know how to use their phones and computers. So they were trying to get rid of, like, so they were trying to change voting laws because of that. That's racist as fuck. They tried to say that black people don't have IDs, and that's racist as fuck. Like, I saw this one video where this guy, he went through New York, and he was, like, asking all the white people in, like, the white part of town, like, you think it's racist? You think people don't need IDs? Do you think people just should just go in there, just say, hey, this is me, just trust me. We have so much trust in this society. But no. People aren't stupid. People know how to get ID. Like, I still need to get my real ID. I still haven't got that yet. Please don't pull me over. But, yeah. And then he went to Harlem, which is historically, like, the blackest town in New York, and was just asking all the people there that were black, like, hey, do you have your ID? Hey, do you know how to use a computer? And, like, the people were getting offended. They were like, yes, I have an ID. Yes, I know how to use a computer. So, liberals are, like, the real racist ones. Where did I even start with that little tangent? Where was I? Yeah, people trying to look stupid. It's like the people, like, it's the people, they try so hard to, like, prove their point, and they just prove that they're racist. And then they're, like, the people that, like, say things are true. Oh, because of coronavirus. Because people were saying it was racist, calling it the Chinese virus, but it started in China. It was created in, the Chinese probably had a hand in it because it was done in a, like, top secret Chinese lab. Makes you really wonder how it leaked. I don't know how many diseases are leaking, like, regularly, so that's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. And, like, it's even more racist, the explanation they had. They're like, yeah, they were just eating, like, wombats from, like, a wet market, and that's how Corona spread. Or it's like, yeah, those Chinese people, they're just eating bats all the time. Like, they can't get their hands off them bats. Oof. Like, that's way more racist than saying, hey, it was made in a lab in China, which it was. And the lab was funded by Fauci, who was just pardoned for 10 years for gain-of-function research, which COVID was a gain-of-function virus, because that's what they're studying in that lab in Wuhan. They're basically creating bioweapons. They're trying to make diseases as, like, harmful as possible, spread as fast as possible, and they're not coming up with cures. So those are bioweapons. Those are bioweapons. Barack Obama made gain of function illegal, and then all of a sudden Fauci started doing all of his shit out of the country, And Fauci has always done sneaky shit. I don't know how people trusted him for COVID. There's a book by Robert F. Kennedy called The Real Dr. Fauci. And so you can sue anybody over a book if it's not true. And that book has been out for about 20 years, and Fauci has not tried to sue him once. And it explains how Fauci has been testing vaccines, testing all these different things on third world children, third world people, because he knows people aren't going to do anything about it. He knows people don't care. So it's just evil. It's legitimate evil. He got pardoned by Biden he got a preemptive pardon. So he hasn't even been charged. They haven't even gone after him for anything. But yeah, it was a preemptive pardon. So they're like, hey, so you pardoned him for nothing? You pardoned him the past 10 years for nothing? Little suspicious. I don't know about that. And the only thing that they will be able to get him on is they've taken him to court before, and he said he didn't do all these things, so they will be able to get him on perjury. Or no, they'll be able to get him on perjury, because if they can get him in front of a stand, he's already been pardoned on all these things, but what they're trying to do is get him in front of a stand, so that way he can, hey, if you gotta admit it, but if you don't admit it and you lie and say you didn't do it, then it's perjury on the stand, and then we can get him on that. So, they're trying to get him on something, but he'll probably ride free. But you can't really... Well, you can trust the establishment. It's just you never ever trust the establishment that says they're not allowed to be questioned. You're not allowed to talk bad about them. If you do talk bad about them, you will be punished. Question all of those people. And to the next one. With what is cited here is a quantum computer. I've done little research into this. I've heard much smarter people talk about it than me, so I'm just going to repeat the things that the much smarter people than me said about it, which is kind of hypocritical to what my whole little babble there. Very, very hypocritical, but just pumping out information here. Question every single word I say. Please research every word I say. Because I research everything I say. But, my research could be wrong. So, please look into the things I say if you have any questions, or put in the comments if you have any questions, and I will go deeper depth into whatever you guys have questions on. But to quantum computing, so how people explained it in things that I've watched is, so you have a math problem, and so you have a calculator. If you type in 2 + 2, you instantly get 4. Or if you have a very, 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 very long math problem where it just has to be read by the computer, sometimes it takes a couple of minutes, download it. But with a quantum computer, I don't know if this is exactly true, because it would be overly insane if it's true. But what they're saying is that with quantum computing, you'll take a math problem that would take the entirety of the universe. If you took every single particle from every single part of the universe, mashed it into a computer to where all of that was processing, that would overheat from a problem that would take a quantum computer minutes to do. because this is where it gets a little ooh, and this is where I say you need to question things, because what Jimmy Carr said, he is a comedian, but he's also a very, very smart intellectual guy. What he was saying is what happens with progression of technology and science is you'll have periods of it going flat and then spike. Flat, spike. Flat, spike. Because back to this guy, you'll have those learned guys and they'll just trust everything they've been told. They'll just never question anything. Everything they heard was true. And then anything that comes on the outside questioning their beliefs, they just shut it down and throw it away, because it's like, oh, that's not true. I've been studying this for 30 years. How could that possibly be true? My entire family believes in it. My entire school believes in it. The entire whatever believes in it. How could that possibly be fake? But it's been proven time and time again that it has. Like, I've talked about this on an older one, but a lot of people, like, people think, oh, you just put gas in the car. That's just how cars work. There's no other way to work a car. But there was a guy in New Jersey that discovered how to run a car off of water. And that would have been a huge breakthrough. But he died of an aneurysm, and all of his work disappeared. And an aneurysm is one of the most easy things to give to a person, like, without even a trace. And then all of his research disappeared. He was able to drive across the country with a car that ran on water. So, pretty obvious. Like, what are you gonna do? It's like you're a very, very rich oil tycoon, and then you discover a guy in New Jersey is like, oh, look, I can make a car that runs off of water. Nope, nope, nope. His ass got murdered. And yeah, his ass got murdered. And with the quantum computing, why the math problem is so important that that it would be able to solve that. Now, that's just one example. Now, expand it to everything else. Imagine everything else you would be able to do with it. So with the simulators that we have now, with the computers that we have now, basically amplify that to something that you can't even imagine, and then you're in a simulation and nothing's real. But it doesn't really matter, because it does not matter. We are all in this together, because even if we are in a simulation, every single person has the cards that they're dealt. Like I said, I'm like 6'1", it's pretty good cards. I'm ugly by a lot of people's standards, but I've done pretty good in some situations. I'm a little bit blessed in other areas, but everybody has the cards that they're dealt, and that's just how the world works. So it doesn't matter, if the simulation's real. If it's not real, then it is what it is. It's just interesting to think, because it's like, what if things get shut off and we don't even know? And on to the next thing. Yeah, that's kind of pointless. I don't know why I got that. Okay, on to AI. This is a extreme example, but it's like, maybe we're an AI prompt. Maybe, but I feel like that one's a lot less likely, because someone would have to, or maybe they just said, create a world, let it run. Because like, once we have quantum computing, how good will AI be? We have no idea. We have no idea the things we'll be able to reach. But, AI, with it, art often becomes real life. A lot of things in older movies have ended up coming out to the public. which is one theory that a lot of people have, but I agree with, that with the technology being 30 years behind the public, is they will release ideas from Hollywood into, they will release the government ideas into Hollywood to prepare people's brains for it, so that when it eventually becomes real, it's already been a possibility. Like, aliens, they're pretty much, we know they're real, but this could be a guy just lying and yapping, but I forget who said it, but he said that there was, they took a vote, like, on the government, on what would the pros and cons be if aliens were disclosed to the public or if they stayed hidden from the public, and the cons vastly outweighed the pros, so they just decided not to do it, because who's going to listen to the government if there's an omnipotent, like, alien force that can just wipe us all out whenever? Nobody. No, not a single person's going to listen to the government. And another thing, if they lied about aliens, what else have they lied about? But people have already started going down that rabbit hole of, like, oh, if they lied about that, what else have they lied about? And on to the next thing of, with quantum computing, is, will AI become God? Like, there's one thing that I have seen that, like, seems like, ooh, my computer's about to die. That seems highly plausible is, so humans create AI, AI grows up, AI becomes God, humans have to work for AI, do its bidding, solar flare wipes out everything that everybody created. By the second generation of people, nobody remembers any of it, becomes stories of magic, becomes stories of gods. So, like, with how they're discovering Egypt now, is they think Egypt probably was way more advanced than us. It's like, we currently do not have the ability to build the pyramids or build a lot of their stuff in the time period where they said that they made it. Like, in current time, if we used all the best things to our ability, we would not be able to do it. So, the Egyptians, or maybe some other societies too that we are unknown about, like maybe the sea people, they're way more advanced than us, and who knows what we'll be able to do. And it's the last thing for my pictures. And yeah, like, basically, like, one thing I've been thinking about is everything that we think is magic and not possible from the past that everyone talks about, what if it was just super advanced technology? Like, one example, and I'm going to leave you guys with this, is why do so many cultures across the world have stories of dragons? Because I believe we have been here before, and every single culture that has stories of dragons have built up the technology before, and dragons are just fire jets. Like, if Egypt, if they're way more advanced than us, they probably had planes, they probably had all that, they probably fought with the planes, you know, and then they probably passed on stories of things flying through the sky and spitting fire, which would be whatever missiles or bullets they're shooting. And, you know, it's just that simple. It's like, all the stories of religion and all the stories of the past are just us trying to understand things we couldn't understand. And we call it magic because we haven't figured it out yet. But it seems like we were born in the right time, and it seems like the people in our time might be able to figure it out. So, if you made it this far, I'm starting to post on Twitter, and I'm starting to post on YouTube. Links will be in bio, or links will be in the description. And yeah, thank you for watching.